On 12 November 1996, two aircraft converged in a tragic incident. The first, Saudia Flight 763, a Boeing 747-168B, was bound from Delhi to Dhahran with 312 souls aboard. Veteran Captain Khalid Al-Shabeli led the crew. Simultaneously, Kazakhstan Airlines Flight 1907, an Ilyushin Il-76 TD, was descending from Chimkent toward Delhi with 37 on board, including its captain Alexander Robertovich Cherpanov and radio operator Igor Alexeyevich Rep. Let's look at how the accident occurred. At around 18:32 local time or 6:32 p.m., Saudia Flight took off and climbed to its assigned altitude of 14,000 feet. Meanwhile, Kazakh Flight was cleared to descend to 15,000 feet. Both were in the same airway, in opposite directions, controlled by the same air traffic controller, V.K. Datta. 8 minutes later, confusion set in. Kazakh reported reaching 15,000 feet but was actually descending through 14,500 feet and still dropping. Air traffic controller warned, traffic identified, 12 o'clock, reciprocal 747, 10 miles, report in sight. No visual contact was made. Seconds later, chaos, the Kazakh's tail sliced through the Saudia's left wing. From another angle it is clear how the planes collided. In this split second, hundreds of lives were doomed. When we zoom in we see that the horizontal and vertical stabilizers of the Kazakh was damaged while the wings of the Saudia got torn. The Saudia spiraled out of control and crashed at nearly 1,135 km per hour, bursting into flames. The Kazakh followed in a spinning descent. The skies went silent over Haryana. 349 lives ended in the deadliest mid-air collision in history and the worst aviation disaster in India. The planes crashed 100 kilometers west from Delhi. The Saudia crashed near Dhani village and the Kazakh crashed near the field of Birohar village. Both fell onto agricultural lands nearly 50 kilometers apart. In the aftermath, the Indian DGCA launched a high-powered inquiry. A High Court judge led the investigation under the Lahoti Commission, with help from aviation safety officials. Both aircraft's flight data and cockpit voice recorders were recovered intact, one sent for analysis in Moscow and the other in the UK. The Saudia flight took off and maintained an altitude of 14,000 feet while the Kazakh flight was at above 15,000 feet and descending. Kazakhs were told to drop to 15,000 feet. But they went lower than that to well below 14,000 feet. By the time that the radio operator on the flight noticed and told the pilots to pull up, it was too late and it collided with the Saudia flight. The findings were chilling. The Kazakh crew descended below their assigned altitude, likely due to poor English comprehension and confusion in interpreting ATC instructions. Their radio operator, fluent in English, was the only one to catch the error, but his attempt to ascend back triggered the fatal collision. The report blamed multiple lapses, lack of effective crew resource management, no standardized CRM practices, no altitude awareness, and absence of collision avoidance systems aboard the Il-76. It laid bare the procedural and systemic flaws that enabled silence where clarity was needed. In immediate response, India mandated TCAS, the Traffic Collision Avoidance System, for all aircraft. It restructured air corridors, improved ATC primary radar to include secondary radar for altitude tracking, and separated civil and military routes. Kazakhstan Airlines, compounding existing issues, eventually ceased operations. 349 lives erased in a moment of miscommunication. It's a stark reminder that human error, language barriers, and systems gaps are often fatal at 14,000 feet. Billions and human efforts were taken by India to ensure tragedies like Charkhi Dadri never repeat.